And welcome back to Monday Evening Quarterback. Christian Simpson here. I hope you enjoyed the first half of the show. Very wild week in college football with four top ranked teams all going down, and that was Penn State, Georgia, LSU, and Florida State. That's why we say any given day, anybody can truly be beat. Once again, thank you to those who have participated in Monday Evening Quarterback phone calls. Yes, that can be you. If you want to join MEQ's hotline and you want to come on and talk a little football with me, let me know. Reach out, especially if you have my personal number. Email me, c.simpson@thedailyblitz.blog. Reach out to me on social media and we will definitely get it set up. Now remember, I pre-record every phone call and the show would be about 3 or 4 hours long if I took the phone calls live on the show. But nah, I work smart, not hard. Now it's time to talk a little NFL. But once again, if you are liking what you were hearing, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we are on Twitch, Spotify, YouTube, and the Nerdport Network. I almost said Blog Talk Radio once again, but we're not on there anymore. Now it's time to talk a little NFL. It's week 4 of the National Football League. It started on Thursday in Seattle. Seattle did win that game. And Arizona appeared to be fighting back. But Seattle nipped that in the bud right then and there. Seattle won that game 23-20. Seattle's 3-1. The NFC West, these last couple years, it's been quite entertaining. You have the Rams, you have the 49ers, you have Seattle, even Arizona. They're on the up and up, but I don't think they're ready to be at the table with the other three I just listed. But yeah, Seattle did win by 3. And you got to give Arizona a lot of credit for the comeback. Yeah, but looking at the stats here, Sam Darnold, 18-26, 242 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. Man, if Seattle can establish a little bit more of Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, you got a nice little 1-2 punch out that backfield. I think Seattle's always been really good when it comes to running the football. Jackson Smith-Njigba was your leading receiver, 4 receptions, 79 yards. And Cooper Kupp loves playing with this kid. Raved about him when he was talking about him with Andrew Whitworth. But yeah, Seattle escapes. That's what started week 4. Kyler Murray, 27-41, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he was sacked 6 times. That means Seattle's bringing the thunder defensively. Mike McDonald is a defensive-minded guy, and Mike was the defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens a couple years ago before taking the job with Seattle. Kyler Murray was also your leading rusher, and this offense misses James Conner. He brought a lot of intangibles to this offense where just his presence truly made a defense honest. Meaning you had to account for him when you saw him. Even if it was on play action, you just knew the threat of him potentially getting the football. That's the thing right there that stands out to me. But he's out for the year with an injury. Wish him the best. With that being said, some other things that caught my eye in week 4. The Atlanta Falcons bounced back nicely after an embarrassment last week to the hands of the Carolina Panthers. They didn't even score a touchdown. Yeah, Washington was a little short-handed with No Jaden Daniels, no Jerry McLaurin, and those are two large chunks right there of your offense. Marcus Mariota came in, and you knew this was going to be a Debo Samuel game. And he led all receivers on the Commanders, 6 receptions, 72 yards, and caught that touchdown. Marcus Mariota started again. This is the best I've seen Michael Penix look. Talk about bouncing back. He was 20 or 26, 313 yards, passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. But, the thing that really stood out to me, Bijan Robinson had a touchdown. Tyler Algier had a touchdown. Drake London had a touchdown. And so did Kyle Pitts. They've been waiting on this trio of Bijan, Drake, and Kyle to really stand out and assert themselves. And this is a nice win. I got to give them that. Getting a win against a team that was a game away from the Super Bowl last year. That's always going to stand out. They won that game 34-27 yesterday. I was a little concerned about Buffalo because I think they let the Saints hang around a little too much. These are the teams you're supposed to dominate and take away, and dominate and put away when you have the chance. I always say Buffalo is a better football team when James Cook is getting his carries and they're feeding him the football. 22 carries, 117 yards, and 1 touchdown. Khalil Shakir. Did you guys see that touchdown that he caught? It was a simple screen pass, and he just took it to the house. And I guess the Saints had too many beignets and didn't even bother to tackle. My thing is, the Saints play hard. They just struggle to put teams away. And if I'm the Saints right now, I'd be just in full rebuild mode, which they don't want to admit that they're doing, but they're 0-4. This season's probably going to be lost. You're probably going to be one of the top 2 or 3 picks in the NFL draft in April of 2026. I'd see what I could get for Alvin Kamara. Why not? He's still relatively young. It'd be worth a shot, if you ask me. I want to go to East Rutherford. I want to go to MetLife. It was the first start of the Jackson Dart era. Saw a lot of him at Ole Miss. It was really cool on Sunday NFL Countdown. The guys interviewed Lane Kiffin, his former college coach, and the Giants were looking for that spot. That guy to come in and just kind of elevate everybody around them. And truthfully speaking, they weren't getting that out of Russell Wilson. If anything, he was holding them back, I feel. Now, Brian Daboll has his own quarterback that he could develop and groom up. Played the now previously undefeated Chargers, and the Giants won that game 21-18. The Chargers looked horrible. They ran the ball for 128 yards. Justin Herbert just really seemed to be out of rhythm. 1 touchdown, he threw 2 interceptions. Quentin Johnston was the leading receiver for the Chargers. 8 receptions, 98 yards. And then on the Giants side, Jackson Dart, 13-20, 111 yards. Just kind of let him control things. Cam Scatterboo was your leading rusher, 25 carries, 79 yards. And yeah, the Giants did win this game, but they ended up losing something in the process, and that unfortunately was Malik Neighbors. More than likely, he did tear his, not more than likely, he tore his ACL. So tough to see that happen because he was one of the shining points on this Giants offense, and I was really looking forward to seeing what he and Jackson Dart could cook up together. Wishing Malik a really speedy recovery. You never want to see that happen, whether you're a fan of a team or whether you're not. You just don't laugh at injuries, plain and simple. Yeah, but this is a nice little win for the Giants. Let's see if they can keep it moving now. Sticking with the NFC East, was a big game yesterday in Tampa Bay at Raymond James. 3-0 Eagles, 3-0 Buccaneers. And, I honestly think the Eagles needed that type of game last week to kind of wake up and get jump started. And the Eagles dominated the first half of this game against Tampa yesterday. At one point, they were up 24-3 at the half. And yeah, they let Tampa climb back into the game. But one thing I will say is this about the Eagles. When they assert themselves on you, I think they're the best team in the league. When they're playing to their standards and to their capabilities, I don't see many teams slowing them down. I know Saquon's gotten off to a slow start, but teams know. Look, number 26 ain't beating us. Jalen Hurts, not a bad day at the office yesterday. 15-24, $130, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Saquon, 19 carries, 43 yards, but Jalen was your leading rusher. Dallas Goedert caught the 2 touchdown passes from Jalen Hurts. And Tampa Bay, they're such a tough team. They're gritty. They fought, but they just ran out of gas. Philly did win this game, 31-25. The Eagles are 4-0. And Tampa Bay drops to 3-1. And I'm just going to call it right now. I don't think that's the only time we see these two teams play. I think they're going to meet up again come playoff time. Let's see if this is right come January. Other than that, the Steelers, they've won 2 in a row. They got back to playing Steeler football. I called them out last week prior to their game. And I just said, look, get back to playing Steeler football, which is putting the quarterback under center, running the football, using play action, let everything else open up, and the defense will handle the rest. Yeah, they did give up 21 points, which isn't terrible, but Aaron Rodgers was 18-22 for 200 yards. To me, that's a sustainable stat line. Because if he throws the ball 30 or more times, I say 30 times is the most he can throw the ball now at this point in his career. But if he throws the ball more than 30 times, you're looking at a loss. Kenneth Gainwell, 19 carries, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And DK Metcalf took one to the house, 80 yards, 5 receptions, was targeted 5 times, 126 yards, averaged close to 26 yards per catch. And the 1 touchdown I just mentioned. They get that win in Dublin, Ireland, 24-21. The Texans finally got on the in the win column, 26-0. The 4 o'clock games were quite interesting. Ravens and Chiefs, by the time I knew I was going to be recording Monday, even the quarterback, I knew one of these teams was going to be 1-3. And this could be the turning point for the Chiefs season. They got back to the basics. Patrick Mahomes looked absolutely phenomenal. 25-37. 270 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and he was only sacked once. If you notice, those first 3 games, Mahomes looked like he was running for his life. Xavier Worthy was back, and he opens up this entire offense. Wait until they get Rashee Rice back. Then I really think we're going to see some things with Kansas City. Kansas City's 2-2. Baltimore's 1-3. Baltimore misses Nnamdi Madubuike, and you saw it last week on Monday night when they played the Lions. Nnamdi is that lane eater, that big defensive tackle that sits in the middle, commands all the attention, and everybody else on that defense eats. And the Ravens don't have him right now. I know he's been out with an injury. Lamar Jackson threw a terrible interception, and he did leave this game early with what appeared to be a hamstring injury. I always say when it comes to the Ravens, they need to feed Derrick Henry anywhere between 21 to 25 times, and he only had 8 carries. That's why you're holding the letter L right now. Yeah, Baltimore's 1-3. Let's see where they go from here. I know they have a game against another 1-3 team next week, so there's a strong possibility that either the Houston Texans or the Baltimore Ravens will be 1-4. The Jacksonville Jaguars going into San Francisco and beating up on the 49ers 26-21. Well, not beating up, but it's tough for those East Coast teams to fly across the country and get a win. But they did it. Trevor Lawrence, 21-31, $174. 1 touchdown pass, wasn't sacked. Travis Etienne, 19 carries, 124 yards rushing, and the 1 touchdown. And Brock Purdy did return. Brock Purdy was 22-38, 309 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Christian McCaffrey ran the ball for 49 yards, and he was also the leading receiver with 92 yards. I think these injuries, once again, are just really hurting San Francisco. If George Kittle is on the field, we're looking at a different ball game, I think. But, we can't look at the possibilities and what if. What happened. The 49ers lost. Now they're on a short week to play the next team I'm going to talk about, the Los Angeles Rams. They handed the Indianapolis Colts their first loss of the year, and the Colts played them very tough. The Rams win 27-20. Daniel Jones, I don't want to say he kind of came back to reality, but he did throw 2 interceptions. Granted, he still has been playing the best football of his career. The Rams made sure not to let Jonathan Taylor beat them, as he was held under 100 yards. And I knew the Rams would be pissed off coming into this game after blowing a 19-point lead in South Philadelphia in Week 3. Matthew Stafford threw 3 touchdown passes, 29-41, with 375 yards passing. Puka Nacua, 13 receptions on 170 yards, 1 touchdown, and Devontae Adams also caught a touchdown as well. The 49ers and Rams will link up on Thursday night to kick off Week 5, which I can't believe. How about those Chicago Bears winning 2 in a row? They come away with a victory against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, Ashton Jeanty had himself a hell of a game. I'm not going to deny that. 21 carries, 138 yards. This is the formula for the Raiders. Not Geno Smith taking matters into his own hands, because he's not that type of guy. And Pete Carroll, of all people, should know this. You coached them in Seattle, so why are you trying to jump outside your box in Vegas now with him? I almost said Oakland. Lord have mercy. The Bears won 25-24. Yeah, so a very entertaining Week 4 of the NFL. You knew the NFL is always going to find a way to make its storylines. And with that being said, that's going to be today's show. Again, if you like what you heard, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We are on Twitch. We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify, and we are on the Nerdport Network. So make sure you check out Monday Evening Quarterback. Log on to the site and become a subscriber today. Got more quality previews coming your way. We'll be previewing, well, you'll see it tomorrow. I can't give away too much. Become a subscriber. Log on to the dailyblitz.blog, enter your email address, and anything that gets posted and shared to the site will be sent to your email address. Keep up with me on the airwaves. Check me out on the Prime every Monday night and Tuesday night. Monday nights we recap, and that's with Israel Rivera, Matt James, and TJ Hopkins. And Tuesdays we look ahead to the up and coming week and pick games for the NFL for the upcoming week. That's with David On Point, myself, and TJ Hopkins. Wednesday, you can catch me on The Betting Window with Ronnie Kump, John Danzo, and Ryan Shaw on the Nerd Port Network. Thursday mornings, you can catch me on Snowman in the Morning with Brian Snow. Looking ahead, my segment is called Simpsons Football Chatter. Fridays, you can catch me on College Football Showdown on Prime Sports World with Israel Rivera and Matt James. And I know a lot is going to be said on that episode, so I'm really looking forward to that, man. Doing this every week has been such a blessing. Like, football has shown me what I can do when I put my mind to it. And that's that's pretty much it. As always, huge shout out to my family, my beautiful mother, my beautiful sister Taylor, who I love oh so very much. My dad, thank you, all three of you. You guys have been my biggest support system. Thank you for all you've done for me throughout this entire process. My son, better known as my dog, Siebes. My other siblings, Sean, Janice, Tanisha, Daphne, love you all so very much. And Daphne's son, my little adopted nephew, Aiden, love you, little man. Brandon Williams, Keith Hill, who just got married. Congratulations, man. Robert Butler, Jason Tyree, Candace Carter, Kimmel Fryer, Rob Carter, Mike Griffin, Alex Bennett, Velo, Kevin Cooper, his wife Lynn, and their beautiful daughter Evelyn, who we all call Evie, Cole Johnson, better known as Coach, D, our moderator, who really keeps us sharp throughout the week, and everyone I've contributed for in the past, and everyone who I contribute for now, and everyone who's been a phone caller on Monday Evening Quarterback, and everyone who I know is going to be a phone caller for MEQ. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all so very much. Remember, 2 Monday night football games tonight. Jets, Dolphins. Someone going to have to win. But I'll crack up, and I won't be surprised if this game ends in a tie. And then in the Mile High City, the Denver Broncos host the Cincinnati Bengals. Definitely would have been on my radar if Joe Burrow were playing. As I mentioned, they played a thrilling game last year, a couple days after Christmas, and Cincinnati won it in overtime. But it's a different looking ball club now for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm picking the Jets. Yeah, I'm taking the New York Jets over the Miami Dolphins, and I am taking the Denver Broncos over the Cincinnati Bengals tonight. I want to know who you have winning. That's been today's show. As always, I hope you enjoy it just as much as I had fun recording it. This is Monday Evening Quarterback. I'm Christian Simpson. I will be back here next week, God willing, next Monday night for another episode of Monday Evening Quarterback. I will see you then. I'm off to go do the Prime, recap week 4 of the NFL. Don't meet me there, beat me there. I will see you throughout the week. Continue to send me your football questions, and make sure you have a great week. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and most importantly, take care of yourself. We're here for a good time, not a long time. I'll see you next week.